Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8. We are on chapter 24. Does anyone remember what we read yesterday? We finished chapter 23 yesterday.
We read about Hare Krishna. We read about Vaman Dev, that how he granted the Sutala Lok to Lord Bali Maharaj, and then how Shukracharya's inquiries were being, like how he inquired from Shukracharya that why did you punish him, and then Shukracharya gave him the counters, and he said that he has, I think it is all for his good. You have been so merciful to him that uh, you took away everything, and that is for his good, and you gave him the Sutala Lok, and then Krishna also, and then Vamandev also promised that he will protect, and there will be no misery and no material entanglement for Bali Maharaj in Sutala Lok. There will be always the association of Lord will always be there. He will be as a Dwarpal there, and then the Lord gave that planet to Indra, and then then the Indra was established at his position in the Indrapuri, and then Aditi was also happy, and then all the great devotees who had come for this pastime, they all went to their respective lands, and then Sukadev Goswami also told us that whoever uh, listens to this Vaman Dev uh, pastime, they will be free from all the sins. And then later he also said that everybody who hears any of the avatars of Krishna, stories of any of the avatars of Krishna, any pastimes of Krishna, any pastimes of Krishna, will be um, given the position in the higher planets, Swargalok, or to Golok Vrindavan. They can go back to Golok Vrindavan. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So then that we finished the pastime of Lord Vamandev yesterday. Now we are starting another incarnation of the Lord. Matsya incarnation. Okay, chapter 24. Matsya, the Lord's fish incarnation. Sneha said she can read till 7:30. So you all want to finish at 7:30 or go until 7:45? Please let me
Go
know.
on till 7:45.
Okay, you can be there. Okay.
Yeah. Today I'll be there. Yeah. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
All right then. Okay, so Matsya Avatar. I'll just read the brief summary by Srila Prabhupada. This chapter describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead's incarnation as a fish. And it also describes the saving of Maharaj Satyavrat from an inundation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands himself by Swamsha, his personal expansions, and Vibhin Amsha, his expansions as the living entities. Swamsha and Vibhin Amsha. There's a difference, and yet the same. Personal expansion, Swamsha. We living entities, Vibhin Amsha. Part and parcel. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears on this planet for the protection of the sadhus or devotees, and for the destruction of the miscreants or non-devotees. He especially descends to give protection to the cows, the brahmanas, the demigods, the devotees, and the Vedic system of religion. Thus he appears in various forms, sometimes as a fish, sometimes as a boar, sometimes Nishimadev, sometimes Vamandev, and so on. But in any form of incarnation, although he comes within the atmosphere of the material modes of nature, he is unaffected. This is a sign of his supreme controlling power. Although he comes within the material atmosphere, Maya cannot touch him. Therefore, no material qualities can be attributed to him in any degree. Once, at the end of the previous kalpa, a demon named Hayagriva wanted to take the Vedic knowledge away from Lord Brahma at the time of annihilation. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the incarnation of a fish at the beginning of the period of Swayambhuva Manu and saved the Vedas. During the reign of Chakshusha Manu, there was a king named Satyavrat who was a great pious ruler. To save him, the Lord appeared as the fish incarnation for a second time. King Satyavrat later became the son of the sun god and was known as Shraddha Deva. He was established as Manu by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To receive the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, King Satyavrat engaged in the austerity of subsisting only by drinking water. Once, while performing this austerity on the bank of the Kritamala river and offering oblations of water with the palm of his hand, he found a small fish. The fish appealed to the king for protection, asking the king to keep him in a safe place. Although the king did not know that the small fish was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, as a king, he gave shelter to the fish and kept him in a water of jug. The fish, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, wanted to show his potency to King Satyavrat, and thus he immediately expanded his body in such a way that he could no longer be kept in the jug of the water. The king then put the fish in a big well, but the well was also too small. Then the king put the fish in a lake, but the lake was also unsuitable. Finally, the king put the fish in the sea, but even the sea could not accommodate him. Thus the king understood that the fish was no one else but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he requested the Lord to describe his incarnation as a fish. The Personality of Godhead, being pleased with the king, informed him that within a week there would be an inundation throughout the universe, and that the fish incarnation would protect the king along with the rishis, herbs, seeds, and other living entities in a boat, which would be attached to the fish's horn. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. King Satyavrat offered respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord and continued to meditate upon him. In due course of time, annihilation took place, and the king saw a boat coming near. After getting aboard with learned brahmanas and saintly persons, he offered prayers to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, and thus he taught Maharaj Satyavrat and the saintly persons about Vedic knowledge from the core of the heart. King Satyavrat took his next birth as Vaivasta Manu, who is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Vivasvan Manave Praha. The sun god spoke the science of Bhagavad Gita to his son Manu. Because of being the son of Vivasvan, this Manu is known as Vaivasta Manu. So this was just a brief summary, and so much was there in this pastime. But now we are going to go in detail. I'm sure there may be many questions, but let's hang on to them and go in detail, text by text. So text 1, Shri Rajo Vacha,
Shri Rajo Vacha,
Bhagavan Shrotum Ichhami,
Bhagwan Shrotum Ichhami,
Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha,
Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha,
Avatara Katham Adyam,
Avatara Katham Adhyam,
Maya Matsya Vidambanam.
Maya Matsya Vidambanam.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Parikshit said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is eternally situated in his transcendental position. Yet, he descends to this material world and manifests himself in various incarnations. His first incarnation was that of a great fish. O most powerful Sukadev Goswami, I wish to hear from you the pastime of that fish incarnation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is all powerful, yet he accepted the form of an uncommon fish. This is one of the 10 original incarnations of the Lord. So we say that Dasha Avatar, right? Dasha Avatar, the first avatar, it's Matsya. There are many, it's not only 10 incarnations of Krishna. We read earlier in Bhagavatam, there's incarnations as many as there are waves in the ocean. Can't even count, unlimited. Anyway, here Parikshit Maharaj wants to hear about the Matsya avatar. So now the Lord is taking the form of a fish. So is this Matsya avatar form, is it equal to a form of an ordinary fish?
No.
No, that's right. Like the Lord came in boar incarnation also, but his body is not like an ordinary boar, you know. You can see by the uncommon activities that the Lord is not affected by material modes. He's transcendental. He takes sometimes form of fish or tortoise or, I'm sorry, or boar, but all the forms are transcendental. He's the Supreme Lord. Yadartham adadhadrupam
Yad artham adaghatrupam
Adadhadrupam
matsyam loka jugupsitam
matsyam
Matsya
lokajupitam
Lokajugupsi
tama prakriti durmarsham
tamah prakritim
Kriti
durmarsham
Durmarsham
karma grasta iveshvaraha
karma grasta
Karmagrasa
ideshvaraha
Iveshwaraha
etanno bhagavan sarvam
etanno
Etanno
bhagavan
Bhagavan
sarvam
Sarvam
yathavat bhaktum arhasi
yathavat
Yatavat
bhaktum
Bhaktum
arhasi
Arhasi
uttama shloka charitam
uttama
Uttama
shloka
Shloka
charitam
Charitam
sarva loka sukha baham.
sarvaloka
Sarvaloka
sukhavaham.
Sukhavaham.
So, what was the purpose for which the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepted the abominable form of a fish exactly as an ordinary living being accepts different forms under the laws of karma? The form of a fish is certainly condemned and full of terrible pain. Oh, my Lord, what was the purpose of this incarnation? Kindly explain this to us. For hearing about the pastimes of the Lord is auspicious for everyone. We just heard in the previous chapter, Sukadev Goswami was saying, by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, our sinful reactions are all gone. So here Parikshit Maharaj is saying, he wants to know now about fish incarnation. He's saying it's auspicious to hear about the Lord. He's not talking about any ordinary fish, you know. You know, some fish lovers, they may get into the details of their pet fish or, you know, different species of fish, but that's not on the same level as speaking about Matsya Avatar. Parikshit Maharaj's question to Sukadev Goswami was based on this principle stated by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 4.7. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajami aham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. The Lord appears in each incarnation to save the world from irreligious principles and especially to protect his devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam. Vamandev, for example, appeared to save the devotee Bali Maharaj. Similarly, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepted the abominable form of a fish, He must have done so to favor some devotee. Parikshit Maharaj was eager to know about the devotee for whom the Supreme Lord accepted this form. So Vaman Dev came. Vaman Dev came to save Bali Maharaj. We think that Vaman Dev came to, protect Indra. But here Vaman Dev is coming to actually save Bali Maharaj. So what about Kali Yuga? What about Kali Yuga? Because here Lord is saying, I'm coming in every yuga and I'm coming to annihilate the demons and to protect the devotees. Paritranaya sadhuna minashaya chatuskritam. So how does the Lord appear in Kali Yuga?
In
How does he re-establish the religious principles? Yes, I'm sorry.
No, because in Kali Yuga, the devil is inside us, so he's given us the Hari Nam. So if we chant, then we can purify ourselves and we can go back to Godhead.
That's right. Lord Chaitanya came. The Lord came and he re-established the religious principle. Kali Yuga Dharma Hari Nam Sankirtan, and that is the chanting of the holy name. Paritranaya sadhunam. We have both the divine and demoniac qualities. So by chanting, we are protecting our divine qualities. And Vinashaya Chatuskritam. It helps us to give up our demoniac qualities. Like Jaga and Madai. The Lord saved Jaga and Madai. They became devotees, pure devotees. They gave up their demoniac tendencies. So that's why Lord Chaitanya is called the most munificent. Here, for example, Vamandev is coming to save Bali Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is saying, which devotee did the Matsya avatar save? So the Lord was coming, like Lord Nishingha came to protect Prahlad Maharaj. But what about Lord Chaitanya? He came to save all of us, each and every one of us. And that's the reason Rupa Goswami calls him Mahavadanyaya, the most munificent incarnation of the Lord. Where he's come to save all of us. Openly he's giving us love of Godhead, which was never given on this scale to this degree before. So, okay, so Sri Sutta Vacha
Shri
Sutta
Sutta
Uvacha
iti ukto Vishnuratena
Iti Ukto Vishnuratena
Bhagavan Badarayanehe
Bhagavan
Bhagavan Badarayani
Vacha Charitam Vishnor
Uvacha
Charitam Vishnu
Matsya Rupena Yat Kritam.
Matsya
Matsarupena Kritam.
Suta Goswami said when Parikshit Maharaj thus inquired from Sukadev Goswami, that most powerful saintly person began describing the pastimes of the Lord's incarnation as a fish. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking, and now Sukadev Goswami is speaking. So just another about Lord Chaitanya. So we should take shelter. We need to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya if we want to get love for Radha and Krishna. We need to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya. We see on the altar there will be Radha Krishna, but there will be Lord Chaitanya there. Lord Chaitanya is worshipped together with Radha Krishna because without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we cannot get mercy of Radha and Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya especially came for us in this age. So we need to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, of Shri Gaur Nitai. Okay. Shri Shuka Vacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Uvacha
Go Vipra Sura Sadhuna
Go Vipra Sura
Sadhuna
Sadhuna
Chandasam Apicheshvara
Chandasam
Ishvara
Apicheshvara
Laksham Icham Stanurdhate
Raksham Icham
Rakshamstanurdhate
Tanurgate
Dharmasya Arthasya Chevahi.
Dharmasya arthasya
Arthasya
chaiva
Chaivahi. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, O king, for the sake of protecting the cows, brahmanas, demigods, devotees, the Vedic literature, religious principles, and principles to fulfill the purpose of life, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts the forms of incarnations. The Supreme Personality of Godhead generally appears in various types of incarnations to give protection to the cows and brahmanas. The Lord is described as Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. In other words, he is always eager to benefit the cows and brahmanas. When Lord Krishna appeared, he purposefully became a cowherd boy and showed personally how to give protection to the cows and calves. Right? Krishna, Gopal, we call him Gopal, the maintainer, protector of the cows. Govinda, the one who gives pleasure to the cows. His, his, his planet is called Golok, planet of the cows. So Krishna loves cows. He showed us how to care for cows. Similarly, he showed respect to Sudama Vipra, a real Brahmana. And when Sudama came, then the Lord personally washed his feet. So, respecting the Brahmanas. From the Lord's personal activities, human society should learn how to give protection specifically to the Brahmanas and cows. Then the protection of religious principles, fulfillment of the aim of life, and protection of Vedic knowledge can be achieved. Without protection of cows, Brahminical culture cannot be maintained. And without Brahminical culture, the aim of life cannot be fulfilled. The Lord therefore is described as Go Brahmana Hitaya, because his incarnation is only for the protection of the cows and Brahmanas. Unfortunately, because in Kali Yuga there is no protection of the cows and Brahminical culture, everything is in a precarious position. If human society wants to be exalted, the leaders of society must follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and give protection to the cows, the Brahmanas, and Brahminical culture. So here Sukadev Goswami is saying that the Lord comes. He comes to protect cows, Brahmanas, demigods, devotees, Vedic literature, religious principles, and principles to fulfill the purpose of life. So Prabhupada is explaining that by protecting cows and Brahminical culture, all others can be protected. Demigods, devotees, Vedic literature will be protected, religious principles will be protected, and principle to fulfill the purpose of life will be protected. So the foundation is cow protection and Brahminical culture. And that's how Krishna is. The prayer to Krishna is like that, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, protecting the cows and Brahmanas. Any comments? Questions? Okay, so let's go on. Uchavacheshu bhuteshu
उच्चावचेषु भूतेषु
charan vayur iveshvaraha
चरन् वायु इवेश्वरः
uchavachatvam bhajate
नोचावच तं भजते
nirgunatvadiyo gune.
निर्गुण अथवा धियो गुणे.
Like the air passing through different types of atmosphere, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing sometimes as a human being and sometimes as a lower animal, is always transcendental. Because he is above the material modes of nature, he is unaffected by higher and lower forms. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of the material nature. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sa characharam. Therefore, Being the supreme controller of the laws of nature, the Lord cannot be under their influence. So the Lord, even though he comes as form of fish or boar, yeah, tortoise, it doesn't mean he's bound to act like an ordinary fish or ordinary boar. No. The Lord comes, he's not bound by the modes of nature. That's the difference. We come to the material world, we get caught up by the modes. We take a material body. The Lord comes, he never gets caught by the modes. The modes are acting according to his direction. You know, he is the controller. He's the creator. He's created these modes. They don't influence him. So an example in this regard is given is that although the wind blows through many places, the air is not affected by the qualities of these places. Although the air sometimes carries the odor of a filthy place, the air has nothing to do with such a place. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being all good and all auspicious, is never affected by the material qualities like an ordinary living entity. So Prabhupada is explaining the wind is blowing, air, sometimes we say, oh, so nice fragrance. But the fragrance is coming from the flower. It's different from the air. The same air, when it passes through a filthy place, it's going to smell. But again, that smell is due to some dirty thing kept there, but the air is not affected by it. Then again, it will go through a garden, again, it will carry the fragrance. So the air is never affected by what is around it. So the Lord is never affected by the material modes. Purusha prakritistohi bhunte prakriti jan gunan. When the living entity is in the material nature, he is affected by its qualities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is not affected. Prabhupada would give the example, just like when the king goes to see the prison. King enters the prison to meet the prisoners. So the king is going by his own self. It's not that he got caught by the police and that's why he's put in there. No, he's going by his own will. He just wants to see how the prisoners are doing, how's everything in the prison. And just as he came at his own will, he can leave anytime. He may say, okay, I'm going to stay there for half an hour or 1 hour or 2 hours. It's his decision. The criminals can't do that. They can't say, okay, I'm going to go by myself to see the prison and okay, I'll be there for half an hour, 1 hour, and then I'm going to come back out. No, the prisoners have to follow the prison laws. They have to wear the prison uniform. The king doesn't. He doesn't need to. Is that okay? The difference?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Disrespectfully, one who does not know this considers the Supreme Personality of Godhead an ordinary living being. Avajananti mam mudha. Param bhavam ajananta. Such a conclusion is reached by the unintelligent because they are unaware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So one who thinks that, he does not understand the truth. So because we are unintelligent, we think that God is taking a material form. We are unaware of the qualities of the Lord. His qualities are all spiritual, transcendental. Asid atita kalpante
Asidatit kalpante
brahmo nemittiko layah
brahmano nemittako layah
samudro paplutastatra
samudro papluta satra
lokabur adayo nripa.
loka bhuradayo nripaha.
O King Parikshit, at the end of the past millennium, at the end of Brahma's day. Because Lord Brahma sleeps during the night, annihilation took place, and the three worlds were covered by the water of the ocean. So this is the partial dissolution at the end of Brahma's day. Now Brahma is going to sleep. So one kalpa is Brahma's day, right? So his day finished. And now it's time for him to sleep. So when Brahma is sleeping, there's no one to take care, no, because he's sleeping. So the lower planets, they all get destroyed. Annihilation. They're all covered by water. Because in case there's some disturbance, then what to do, right? Lord Brahma, he's the engineer, so he's gonna sleep. And usually more problems are there in these lower planets. So he's gonna sleep then. And then all these planets are covered by water. Kalena gata nidrasya
Kalena gata nidrasya
dhatu shishayishor bali
dhatu shishayishor bali
mukhato nishritan vedan
mukhato nihishritan vedan
hayagrivontike harat.
hayagrivo antike harat.
At the end of Brahma's day, when Brahma felt sleepy and desired to lie down, the Vedas were emanating from his mouth, and the great demon named Hayagriva stole the Vedic knowledge. So Lord Brahma was speaking the Vedas. He was speaking the Vedas, and Hayagriva stole this knowledge. So stole this knowledge. I don't know if it was physically or if it was just because he heard it and he's a demon, because it's mentioning your Vedas are emanating from his mouth, right? So he's speaking the Vedas. So yeah, I don't know if it's like physical,
What in the Hare Krishna, what in the
Hare Krishna.
story they showed was that he stole them physically, like the Vedas in the paper form.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the story they showed that way, that they took away.
Which story?
The Hayagriv stories. Sometimes they tell this story, then in the books, in the small books, they have the story. So they physically they stole. They show like that, but I'm not sure what read here. So
Okay. Thank you. Gyatva taddana vendrasya
Gyatva taddane vindrasya
hayagrivasya cheshtitam
Hayagrivasya cheshtitam
dadara shafari rupam
Dadhara shafari rupam
Bhagavan Harir Ishvaraha.
Bhagavan Hari Ishvaraha.
Understanding the acts of the great demon Hayagriva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who is full of all opulences, assumed the form of a fish and saved the Vedas by killing the demon. Because everything was inundated by water, to save the Vedas, it was necessary for the Lord to assume the form of a fish. So everything was in the water. So the Vedas were also in the water. So as you said, it was physically, it was like a book. And Hayagriva took it. Now to take it back. So Lord came as a fish in the water and he's killed Hayagriva and he's taken the Vedas. Okay, Tatra Raja Rishi Kaschin.
Tatra Raja Rishi Kaschin
Namna Satyavrto Mahan.
Mamna Satyavrato Mahan
Narayana Parotapat.
Narayano Parotapat
Pasa Salilashanaha.
Tapahasa Shalilashanaha.
During the Chakshusha Manvantar, there was a great king named Satyavrat, who was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satyavrat performed austerities by subsisting only on water. So, okay, so the first incarnation of Matsya, why did the Lord come the first time?
To protect the Vedas from
Yeah,
Hayagriv.
protect the Vedas from Hayagriv. Now, here Sukadev Goswami is speaking of another incarnation. And this incarnation came in the Chakshusha Manvantara. Chakshusha Manu is, I think, the 6th Manu, right? If I remember it
Yeah, we are in the
correctly.
7th right now, right?
Yeah. So
So
in the
before
previous, and there was a king. What's the name of the king?
Satyavrat.
Satyavrat.
So this is
Yeah,
not the
Satyavrat.
same. This is not the same, right? It's not the same fish.
And he's coming another again. He's coming
Again,
again.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He came first time. Matsya
It
came
was the
before,
first
first time.
Manvantar. So it was the
Yeah.
first Manvantar, right?
Yeah. That one?
At the fish, like a fish, he came in the first Manvantar, Swambhuva Manu.
Okay.
No. Because the
Let's
first
see.
Manvantar is Swambhuva Manu, right? Okay, we'll get to know maybe later. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So you so began to form. Okay. Well, it doesn't say which Manvantar it was.
But it was not the same.
First
It
one.
is not the same, right?
Yeah, it's not the same Manvantar.
Yeah, okay,
It's not the
perfect.
same Manvantar.
It's not the same Manvantar. Yeah, perfect then. It's okay.
Yeah, it's
So there are two
another.
different times. Two different times he came as a fish.
That's right.
Okay.
2 different times he's coming as a fish.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 times. Like how Varaha Dev also. He came, we know, 2
Yeah.
times. Right?
As a boar. Yes, as a boar.
Boar.
Yes.
One time
Yes.
reddish, one time white,
White.
right? It's mentioned.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now he's coming as a fish also 2 times.
Okay.
That's what we know of. We don't know if he's coming many more times. But anyways, in Bhagavatam is mentioned 2 times. And this great devotee Satyavrat is living only on water. Yeah, here, it's written here in the purport. Yeah. The Lord assumed one fish incarnation to save the Vedas at the beginning of the Swayambhuva Manvantar. Okay, so that was Swayambhuva Manvantar is the first Manvantar, first Manu. And at the end of the Chakshusha Manvantar, the Lord again assumed the form of a fish just to favor the great king named Satyavrat. As there were 2 incarnations of Varaha, there were also 2 incarnations of fish. The Lord appeared as one fish incarnation to save the Vedas by killing Hayagriv, and he assumed the other fish incarnation to show favor to King Satyavrat. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so we'll stop here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.